having the fans behind you here is something I think that's, you know, a big bonus. Just being able to have that little extra support always helps when you're out there.
I know we always get some different weather, it seems, every week out here on tour. The heat wave seems to be hitting Toledo this week. What's going to kind of be the key to not getting too, I guess, overheated out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hot here. I mean, it's either hot or it's raining or the bridges are getting, you know, overflowed. I mean, it's always something out here. It's, you know, who knows what's going to happen come Saturday, Sunday, but being able to travel all over the world, obviously you do have different temperatures, different climates. Living in Florida, I feel like I'm kind of used to the humidity and the mugginess. Last week in Toronto, you know, record storm, of course, the LPGA was coming into town, and you know, it was warm on the weekend there. Being hydrated is going to be very important, especially to all the fans that come out and watch. You know, better bring a water, maybe a sun umbrella, because it's going to be warm and toasty, that's for sure.
Questions for Paula?
There we go. Hi. Could you just talk a little bit about how you're feeling, how you're playing, and what you think your expectations are for this week?
You know, I've been starting to play really well the last couple of months. Had a really good open showing. Kind of after Rochester, just kind of looked at my game a little bit more and tried to fine tune some things. You know, I'm hitting the ball great. I didn't have a very good putting week last week. I hit great putts, I just couldn't read those greens. And you know, that sometimes happens. Sometimes golf courses just don't fit your eye. Coming into this week, the way that I'm hitting the ball and the way that I do see these greens, I'm feeling really good. It's just been a matter of time of being able to put 4 good rounds of golf together. And you know, the fact that you've been going against, you know, some players that are just super hot right now is kind of, you know, it's a little bit not in your favor in a sense, because you just have so much confidence and you're the one that's trying to get out there and, you know, make those putts. And 26 under par last week that's a crazy low number, and I think it's going to take another low number this week, and mentally you have to be able to prepare and to go out and make a bunch of birdies, and I think I can do that out here. I mean, I've done it before, there's no reason why I can't now.
Paula, when you won here in 08, you were, and maybe still are, I'm not sure, but you were affiliated with Owens Corning, and it was the Owens Corning Classic. Mm-hmm. Stacy will be in a little while. She's affiliated with Marathon, and now it's the Marathon Classic. When you're in that type of a situation, is there any greater, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but desire maybe to perform well?
Of course. You know, having sponsors in general, you know, you want to support that, you want to represent yourself while you're representing their, you know, their company. But at the same time, when they have an event, they've obviously have put a little extra into the LPGA, and you know, I feel the way when I go to the Rico Women's British Open. You know, I wear Rico on my left sleeve, and you know, you know, Stacy, I know what it feels like to come to an event when, yes, you know, you are looked a bit more upon by your sponsors and things because you're representing them. But I think that's a great thing that, you know, we can have ambassadors for these, you know, big companies that want to support an LPGA event. And I don't think it's a nervous type of feeling. It's more of, you know, the pressure of your expectations a little almost too high in a sense, because you want to do well for them.
Are you still affiliated with Owens Corning?
Yes.
Paula, you've been pretty healthy this year, I take it, and that's got to be a welcome relief from the last few years, right?
It has. We had that accident in Thailand, that car accident, but other than that, I've been pretty healthy. Found out a couple of things of maybe why I've been sick in the past, but I feel really good. It's probably the best I've felt. I've been able to just kind of work on my game as much as I could with no setbacks.
What was the extent of the thing in Thailand physically for you?
I had my vertebrae were a little bit out of place, and had to just kind of work through that. And obviously getting in a car was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do after that. But you know, that's unfortunately, you know, it happened. We all, I think, learned a lesson in a sense, and we're lucky to just kind of honestly be alive and walking around. A little bit more carefree on a golf course after something like that happens. You know, people go through stuff like that, and mine was just a bit more publicized, and like I said, it took me a good couple months to be able to actually be in a car and drive. When you're going 90 miles per hour and you smashed in between two cars, a lot of things can happen, and to be able to have played that week after, I don't know how I did it, but we did it.
Paula, you've gone through or experienced the transformation of the tour. Do you feel like people, players and fans and everybody are embracing the kind of global personality of the tour? And also, where would you like to see the tour go from here?
Well, I mean, being a global player, I do like it. I do appreciate being able to travel all over the world. I have many different sponsors throughout the world. However, this is our home here in the States, and we want to have as many events as we possibly can here. We want to grow the game in America, and it's hard for people to watch us when we are overseas. You can't take away the fans over there, and you can't take away the golf and what Asia has done for women, the women's game. But at the same time, this is where we are based out of, and I would love to see more events here in the States. Television is obviously a huge thing. Just to be able to be in the mass market of media, and having those opportunities is huge, especially for the future of the game and future of women's golf. But like I said, you can't take away what the other parts of the world are doing for women's golf.
Paula, you've got things to do before that, but are you already a little excited for Solheim Cup?
Oh, of course. I mean, walking in and seeing this picture to my left. It's by far the best week that we have, that I have on tour. It's just so exciting to be able to be on a team. Everybody knows how patriotic I am, wearing red, white, and blue, and it's just the golf that you see during that week is incredible. The way that people hit shots at the big moments, make putts at the right times, things like that. There's nothing better than that, and being able to have Meg as our captain. I got to play my first Solheim Cup with Meg, and it's going to be so much fun, and in Colorado, and we have a great group of girls, and it's going to be a tight race coming down the stretch these next couple of events, and we'll see what who ends up pulling through come to the British Open.
To follow up on Tom's question, there was a time not too long ago that there were 5 LPGA tournaments within 3 hours of here. And I know you remember some of them, maybe not all of them, but and now this is the only tournament really in the Midwest. Is that a concern, or do you see that low point already being hit and the rebuilding of it coming in the future?
I think the rebuilding part is coming through. I think our commissioner's doing a really good job with getting events back and getting some new ones. Obviously, several years ago, things changed, with him coming into it, and he had a lot to kind of take care of out here for us. And I think that he's doing a great job with bringing us back to the market. However, we do want to be here. I mean, there's no reason why not. It's just finding the right sponsors, the right times, the right weeks. I hope in 5 years. Okay, sorry. I hope in 5 years we do have that back. I do feel like it's headed in the right direction. We have a great group of girls. Everybody says that every week, how much they enjoy the pro-ams, how fan-friendly we are, all of that. But it's time to get more events here in the States, and I know Commissioner knows that, and I know he's doing his best to do it, and we have to sell out as well as players.
Paula, back to the Solheim Cup. What kind of craziness can the fans expect in Colorado?
Oh goodness! Well, from us, from us,
Yeah.
as players.
No, fans.
Like just what the fans experience. Oh goodness! A lot of intense players, that's for sure. Just being able to go. There's a difference, obviously, here in the States, and when we go across the pond over there. Everybody's very appreciative of good shots, which is nice in both places. We've never lost on home soil. I'm very aware of that. I think every other player is. It's going to be a tough match this year. Europe has an amazing team. All the girls are playing really strong, but we thrive off of the fans. That's what people don't think they necessarily understand is that when they are super excited, we are. We are the ones that are thriving off of them and giving us that energy. And we play 2 matches a day. It's going to be kind of a grueling test, but at the same time, I mean, we're so motivated, we're so pumped up, and having the fans there to support you. There's nothing better than that. Seeing everybody in their red, white, and blue just cheering for your country, there's nothing better.
It's probably the one time where you might hear cheers if you miss a putt from the European fans. Is that hard to accept, or
It's worse over there than it is
Yeah.
over here. But it is, but it's part of it. It's just the way it is. That's the way the Solheim Cup's the same with the Ryder Cup. It's that duel, that's that fight, that rivalry that you have, and it's amazing. It's 3 days. You wait 2 years for 3 days to go out there and just grind it out, and you take it what it's worth. And when people cheer if you miss a putt, it just almost motivates you more to get back out there and go make the next one.
Paula, as a big statistics guy, first of all, you have more top 20s than anybody on tour. You finished in the top 20 11 times this year. But what I've noticed, I always break down your rounds all the time, probably more than you or your coaches do. And your first rounds, though they're not terrible, always seem to be like a stroke and a half worse than your other 3 rounds. You seem to start with a 72 or a 73, and then Indy or somebody else is 8 strokes ahead of you, and then you have a hard time, coming back, and you finish 4th, and you finish. Are you aware of that, or is it, you are aware of that? And
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, is it something they have to do in your preparation to make Thursday a better round, or?
I think sometimes a lot of it is also just conditions of when you do go out. I know, U.S. Open is a prime example. I was, I was late. Want to go out early, late, just so you can kind of set the standards, set the score for the day. And when you tee off, when you're already 8 back and you haven't even played your first hole, I think what she should do. I think she was -8 the first day, or I believe. I mean, you haven't even hit your first tee shot in the U.S. Open. You're thinking you're supposed to be even par. I mean, that's what you want, is even par. 1 under, 1 over is never going to kill you in the first round of a U.S. Open. And if someone's 8 under par, yeah, that's a hard thing to kind of go up against. But that's just 1 week. I don't know. I've always been kind of a slow starter in a sense, just throughout my whole career. I don't know if it's nerves or if it's just trying to be a little bit too perfect, and I obviously have that tendency of trying to be too perfect out on a golf course. I'm very aware of it. It's just letting it happen and not getting in my own way, and I think that this year I've done a better job of that, but I'm learning. I'm maturing just as much as I have every other year out here. It is my first and second rounds that kind of put me out of the tournament, and then I go out and I win a weekend, that kind of thing.
Right.
Your 60 here was a first round, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Thailand situation, you mentioned you to come back and play the next week.
Yeah.
How did you manage to do that? And secondly, did you subsequently miss any time at all?
I don't know how I did it. Honestly, I can't. It took me maybe an hour every morning to actually get into the car to even go to the golf course. My caddy had to drive 30 minutes from his hotel to meet me at my hotel to help me get into the car. It was, we were going to Singapore, so when that event after Thailand, well, the accident happened Sunday, and then in Singapore was the next event. And I mean, I couldn't have done it without Colin, for sure. I played, I think, 5 holes in the Pro-Am, and my neck was just killing me, and I couldn't do it, so I didn't play a practice round. I just went out and trusted Colin, and sometimes, they always say when you're sick or an injury, you kind of forget about everything else, and your mind's on something completely different, and I've learned a lot from that, just showing that, back to what that last question was, you get in your own way, you think too much. Unfortunately, it was an accident that took my mind off of the game of golf, but it shows you that you can do it. It's in there. But that was I think I finished like 4th or something that week too. It was crazy. But you know, you learn a lot from that, and it was unfortunate that I was in a car accident, and so was I, Miyazato, and so was my caddy, Colin, and a couple other of the Bridgestone guys, and we all walked away. That's the most important thing.
You sort of touched on it a moment ago, but just if you could go back to it, why do you think this tournament has such staying power, both on the tour and here in Toledo?
Well, the fans, for sure. Everybody that comes out and supports us, the sponsors have been around for so long. Can't take away what Judd's done here. He is an amazing tournament director, and he knows what to do. I mean, all the volunteers, everybody. You know, Judd's a good friend of mine now, and you know, it's nice when you can come to a place and have someone that is just so involved in women's golf, and you know, he's been doing this for so long, and if it wasn't for him and Jamie Farr too. I know Jamie Farr's name's not on the tournament anymore, but you know, this wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him as well.
All right, last question, because I know Paula's got to go practice before she plays in the Pro-Am.
Sure, you won the U.S. Open in 2010. I'm sure you have expectations of winning more majors. Can players sometimes put too much pressure on themselves to win that? And I mean, what will it be like 5 years from now? Will Paula Creamer win another major?
I better win another major. No, it's you know, golf. It's like sports. You know, you have your highs and you have your lows. But you know, I just continue working on my game. I know I started off really strong at the beginning of my career, and you know, like I said, this is it's really only my 9th year, and it's incredible what I have accomplished. However, it's not enough. I'm not satisfied at all with that. Those were my expectations. It's just now, you know, I've gone through a lot in the last 3 years, just growing up as an individual, and obviously going through surgery and things like that. But of course, we look at the majors, we look at wins. I do. I'm very aware US Open was my last win. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it, but it motivates me. And you know, like I said, if I could just become the best golfer that I can be, hopefully I'll have, in 5 years, yes, we'll have more than one major.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula.
Thanks, guys.